Hello, everyone. Today, I just wanted to quickly talk about something that's been sort of getting on my nerves recently, and it has to do with the generative AI discussion. Now, in typical fashion, it seems as though the Web3 developers have all pivoted towards the latest trend, which is AI. And some of the things that they've been coming up with seem about as useful as the Web3 tools that we saw over the past year and a half. One of the things I keep getting spammed with in my email inbox is these AI tools that will help me write blog posts. I guess I'm not writing enough blog posts, which, to be fair, I've only posted one in like the past year, so I get that. I definitely need to make more of those, but it's one of those things where, like, if I wanted to write the posts, I would just do it. I don't need someone to hook up to OpenAI's API and just paste my prompt into it. I don't need a prompt engineer for hire. I can do that myself. I have access to ChatGPT or whatever. But it seems to have gotten even worse than that. So earlier, I stumbled across this absolutely fascinating use case for generative AIs, and it's the end result that we all knew was coming eventually. It seems to be a website or a service where you can purchase prompts. You're not purchasing necessarily the artwork or the text that was generated with the prompt. You're purchasing the prompt itself. And in case you're confused on what that means, you would take the prompt that you purchase and go over to ChatGPT, Midjourney, Dolly, whatever, and then you would paste that prompt in. So if I sold a prompt that said, "Tell me a funny story about cats and dogs," I would then come over here after I pay $3, paste it in, and then it would generate the story for me. So you're not technically even at risk of selling something that's stolen, in the sense that, like, if the AI is generating something that's questionable, you're now selling the thing that goes into the AI as input, which I guess on some level could make sense-ish, but this, to me, is just so asinine that I thought we would talk about it a little bit, because the entire idea of it is just absurd. I don't think these generative AIs are at a point where the sophistication of the prompt has such an influence that you need to pay someone to engineer the perfect prompt for you, when you could just go buy the artwork itself. So I did some digging based on this image to try and figure out what or where this was coming from. And it looks like it's coming from this website called PromptBase, which has been featured in various tech magazines and stuff, I guess. I would venture to guess that most of these features are probably, they're probably just people talking about how weird this is. I just clicked on one of these. It doesn't, okay, I guess featured doesn't mean you're like the topic of discussion. You might just be an aside, but that's fine. So let's just take a look at this, because I thought this was fascinating and an interesting reminder that you should not be trying to sell a solution in search of a product, because you'll annoy the people you email and you'll come up with something like this. But maybe try to engineer a solution to an existing problem that you've already identified. Finding artwork is hard, and then sell the artwork and not the prompt that then needs to be custom tailored for the artwork. You could make the argument maybe you sell the image with the prompt itself, but if I'm going through here and I really like one of these images, I probably want that specific image. But right here, you can see after purchasing, you gain access to the prompt file, which you can use with Midjourney. You must already have access to Midjourney to use this prompt. So now I also have to use the Midjourney subscription to use this as well. Or in the case of like Adobe, you'd have to go over to Adobe's subscription service. And that feels like something where it might be bundled with the Adobe platform as opposed to a third-party tool. I don't know. This is just, it screams I don't know, directionless, I guess. But we can come over here. We can play around with this. I'm not going to be entering any information here. But it looks like you get 5 free generation credits every day. You can generate stuff on the website using Stable Diffusion, and then you can sell whatever you've generated with those 5 credits on their marketplace. And if this seems similar to another website, this one right here, I can probably just pull it over here and move this one to go back to the home page. It might be because there is some similarities. You know, it evolves over time, but there's some overlap, some noticeable similarities between some of these products that are popping up and some of the products that we saw in the past. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought this was interesting because this is just so bizarre. I'm assuming you can also hire prompt engineers through here. So again, as we move forward, I do envision prompt engineering being a type of thing you might do more of. I wouldn't say that I need to hire a prompt engineer. I would say that I would need to hire an artist who is familiar with prompt engineering, or a software developer who has experience with a prompt engineering tool, in the same way that I wouldn't hire a GitHub expert for my software product. I would hire a software developer that knows how to use GitHub, right? Like, you're not going to hire the Photoshop expert for your, commercial real estate website so that you can get some cover art. You're going to hire just a graphic designer that also happens to know how to use Photoshop or something to that effect. Very interesting. Again, I've seen this happening even with the people that I know personally, where they were big on the NFT side of things and regrettably were perhaps not the most honest people when it comes to the NFT side of things. I mean, what they told me basically amounted to just scamming people out of their money. But I mean, I don't think that's a surprise to anyone, given what we've seen with what NFTs have done over the year. But this seems very similar, where it's just like, we've taken this popular thing, we've found some way to sell it in some way, shape, or form where we get a cut out of it. And the last person that we've thought of in this entire scenario is the customer, which is never how you want to run your business, at least as far as I'm aware. Now, of course, I could just be out of the loop here. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video.